Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Rundown, episode number 154. And this is also video 1999. This is very special because this will be the last video I record before video 2000, so I'm very excited about that. You probably won't see this video until Saturday because I'm behind a little bit on uploading some of the other videos. I'm hoping to have all of that stuff uploaded, by like Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning-ish. But yeah, welcome to the episode. Welcome to the Wrestling Rundown episode 154. I am the Aftermatch Wrestling Four Horsemen co-predictions heavyweight champion. Hopefully that changes and I can just be the champion by myself after at least take over a SummerSlam. Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here making his debut on the Rundown. I'm here with
The Holiday.
Because me and obviously some people don't know, might not know that don't watch Aftermatch Wrestling. And if you haven't, you should because it's a great channel. Me and him have done reviews of NXT UK, and we've also done 205 Live Matters. So he's going to be a part of the Rundown from time to time. So that's going to be exciting. And pretty much we're going to be doing predictions for NXT TakeOver Toronto 2, SummerSlam, and we're going to do some NXT UK talk because it's been a while since I've talked about that. So Chris, how are you doing though before we actually start doing all this stuff?
I've been doing good. Busy keeping up with the G1 series for the Team NDQ League. And like I said, while everybody's in Toronto having a good time, we're going to be doing predictions and keeping up with stuff for the NXT team and the Rundown. We got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so we're going to have a busy weekend.
Yeah, I had a busy couple of days because I had to binge watch NXT and like NXT UK and stuff. I think I had to start at like the June 19th episode and all the way to like now. So I had a busy couple of days. At least it's NXT because it's not like it's Raw or SmackDown I haven't watched. Well, I have,
Yeah.
And then we have Video 2000 coming up, so I've been busy like working on that. And then I just been a busy summer because I've been going on trips to Florida and North Carolina and stuff. That's why I feel so bad that the summer been so busy because I haven't been able to do like any of the videos like 205 Live Matters of NXT party really. So hopefully that changes because I want to now that once Video 2000 goes up, I hope I can be on more of that stuff because I had a busy summer this summer. But yeah, we're here to talk about NXT TakeOver Toronto 2 predictions. Before we actually do the predictions themselves, we will mention too some of the storylines and stuff that take place in the show because I haven't really gotten that far yet into my reviews and stuff. But Chris, on a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you for NXT TakeOver Toronto 2?
9.
Yeah, same. It's pretty much a 9. I think if I had to say why it's not a 10, is some of the matches, are rematches, and what a little bit what hurts this, NXT TakeOver is some of the matches were kind of rushed a little bit, but honestly though, some of the matches that were rushed have enough story and substance behind them from past episodes of NXT before, where it really doesn't hurt the build at all. And it makes enough sense where you didn't really need to, have that big of storylines. Because also, too, NXT TakeOver, they had one in May, and they typically don't have one, in a couple of months, at a time. So I think, that's why maybe some of the... And I think a lot of guys kind of, too, have been going out due to injuries and stuff, too. So that kind of hasn't really helped. But still, 9 is still very excitement, I'm very excited for this show. I think the show is going to be absolutely awesome. I think this will be the best show of the weekend. I don't know if it'll be the best show because, obviously we have 4 shows coming up. This show, SummerSlam, and then NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff, and then AEW All Out. And then for you, the climax of, the New Japan tournament that they got going on. Yeah, so I don't know if it'll be the best one, but I think it's gonna get fairly close. It could be like the second best show out of everything, but yeah, this show just looks absolutely awesome. It has hold on, I gotta get Noah's graph up.
We got 5 matches for the show with the special. The bonus point for this one is going to be what the general's order is. One, as always, what's the order of the matches, and also what William Regal will pick for the third fall. Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano go to third fall.
And then I'll say too, because we're doing, so basically we're doing predictions for like 3 leagues at once, because we're doing the Full Horseman League, the No DQ NXT League, and Rundown. So the Rundown League, there's 3 bonus points. It's match order, what will be the stipulation to what William Regal will pick for the third stipulation. Since on the next episode, typically of NXT is taped the dark match of the Takeover. Breezango versus Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake will be a bonus point, and who takes the fall in the NXT North American Championship match will be a bonus point. So, yeah, I know I should have had this decided yesterday, but like I said, I binge watch NXT. So, but yeah, let's talk about this show. And I will mention, since I haven't been, reviewing NXT week to week, I will mention, some of the stories going into the show. It's kind of weird that they kind of forgot, too, they had a TakeOver Toronto before, because they're not calling it NXT TakeOver Toronto 2. But, I mean, it is just weird. But starting with the first match, we have the NXT Tag Team Championship match. NXT Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. This feud pretty much is a lot of the Undisputed Era's feuds is just basically them trying to fulfill that proclamation that they want to win all the titles in NXT. So this is the start into that. But they have past history from the ladder match NXT TakeOver 25 and how Fish and O'Reilly think that they're jokes as NXT Tag Team Champions because all they do is clown around. While the Street Profits, are upset because they don't want to lose these titles because Undisputed Era have got an opportunity and they've been featured in every single takeover. They've been on every takeover. They've done everything in NXT. While they're just now starting to finally get featured on the main roster and NXT. So I'm very excited about this match. I think the match is going to be, a hell of a match. And I'll just go first with my predictions. We'll each take turns going first. I think this is probably going to be, unfortunately, the Street Profits' last match in NXT. So I think that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are going to win the titles. Not just because of that reason, but this might give a little bit of a spoiler for most of the Undisputed Eras. But I do think by the end of this show, every member of Undisputed Era is going to be holding the title. So I think this is the start into that. I think Fish and O'Reilly are going to become the first team to be 3-time NXT Tag Team Champions. It would technically not be the first team because I know when O'Reilly held it the second time, he held it with Roderick Strong, but I think they would, since it's Undisputed Era, it's a faction, they would count them as 3-time Tag Team Champions. But, yeah, I think that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are going to win the tag team titles. And I think it just makes sense. What about you?
I'm going with Undisputed Era to win the tag titles. Like I said, they put the Street Profits on Raw for the last 3 weeks. At least they'll do the right thing and have the Street Profits drop it to Undisputed Era. I didn't like how they did that with the War Raiders War Raiders, how they just vacated the titles. I'd rather them had dropped the titles in NXT for going to the main roster. So I don't think they're going to make that same mistake twice. I don't see the Street Profits retaining.
And I'll say this too, just because we're on the topic of that now. WWE, after this show, stop calling up the NXT Tag Team Champions because you've done it twice in a row now.
Since after WrestleMania. Yep.
So yeah. But yeah, I think this match would be a hell of a match. And I'm really looking forward to it. Then we have the only singles match on the show that's not a title match or anything like that. Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. This is obviously coming off the back of Io Shirai's heel turn on Candice LeRae when she turned heel in the cage match because she doesn't need friends, she doesn't need any of us. A lot of people could crap on the heel turn because it's not like enough of an explanation and stuff like that. And you know, it seems simple, but I actually kind of like the heel turn. They're not overthinking it, it's not overcomplicated it, and I really like the new Io Shirai. And I actually think this is going to be a hell of a match. I'm surprised. I should say I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't have a stipulation because it seems personal enough. But I think because the main event basically has 2 stipulations in one match, they want to just have a traditional one-on-one wrestling match, which I'm fine with. But as for who I think will win, well, actually, we'll start with Chris Mace this time. Who do you think will win this match?
When you look at my many notes, I have so many notes for this thing. I had picked Candice LeRae to actually win the match.
Okay. Do you want to say why or?
I think if you're going to build somebody up for a new challenger for the NXT Women's title, this is your opportunity now to build Candice LeRae up. That she hadn't had an NXT Women's title match yet. So I would think storylines, we're working on building up people for new challengers. Candice LeRae would be a perfect fit. Io Shirai has had not 1, but 2 opportunities to win that NXT Women's title, failed at it. Like I said, I think Io Shirai has been dominant with Candice LeRae. I think it's time for Candice to get her comeuppance and go ahead and get a win over Io Shirai.
All right. So then, as for my pick, I'm going to actually go the opposite, and I'm going to pick Io Shirai. I think they need to validate that heel turn. And I think Io Shirai winning would make the most sense. Have, you know, a nice dominant heel win. And I actually would like to see that. I think Io Shirai winning because, you know, there's no point of doing a heel turn if the heel's going to lose. So I think Io Shirai should win. Plus, too, even if Io Shirai wins, the beauty about NXT is they don't have like a takeover afterwards for the next couple of months. So if you want to have Candice LeRae get the win back on an episode of NXT, you can do that. And it wouldn't really be 50-50 booking because NXT is so great. Even if the booking is 50-50, it doesn't feel like that because everyone comes off looking good. So, but then we have the next championship match. It's the triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship, NXT North American Champion, the Velveteen Dream versus Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong. Obviously, this match, you know, we thought was going to be Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong because Roderick Strong in a 6-man tag team match on the June 19th episode of NXT pinned Velveteen Dream, getting him in line for a title match. And we thought that was going to be the case, but then William Regal worked out a deal with Johnny Saint that Pete Dunne's going to be in NXT for a while, which I haven't been able to talk about that. I think that's awesome. He's in NXT now because I think, you know, he really couldn't really do a whole lot more in NXT UK, and I think it freshens him up being in NXT. And I mean, the pop he got to when he came out was absolutely awesome. No one else in NXT UK, I don't think we get that type of pop because of the fact that, you know, he's been in Full Sail enough and stuff like that. And they really did a good job of building up all 3 athletes in this match. Velveteen Dream being the champion, Roderick Strong being in the match. And you had Pete Dunne a couple weeks ago get the victory on Roderick Strong and lay out Velveteen Dream. And for this match, because of the Wrestling Rundown League, we're picking the winner and who takes the pinfall, but it won't count for the 4 Horsemen League and the No DQ NXT Team League. So, as for my pick, I already gave it away, but I'm picking Roderick Strong again, just so that way Undisputed Era can have all control of the titles, and I think it makes sense to do that. And I actually think, see, it's really tough to pick who takes the fall because, you know, it really is tough. I'm actually going to pick and go out on a limb and say that Velveteen Dream is going to take the fall. I think that, you know, he should be the one to take the fall when he loses the title. Because I think if Pete Dunne takes the fall, it would just look like that he was just kind of put in there so that way Velveteen Dream didn't have to lose. I actually think they're going to go the opposite, and I think Velveteen Dream will take the loss and will get pinned to lose his title. So I pick Roderick Strong by pinning Velveteen Dream. But what about you? Who do you think will win the match, and who do you think takes the fall?
I'm going with Undisputed Era here, too. I think Roderick Strong is going to win North American title, and I think he's going to end up pinning Velveteen Dream to win that title because I think Pete Dunne's going to end up doing a lot of the work. He's going to hit his finish on Velveteen Dream, and I can see it now. Roderick Strong sneaking in there, throwing Dunne off of him, and pinning Velveteen Dream to win the title after all the work Dunne does in the match.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, and I think this match would be absolutely awesome. I think this might be almost as awesome as that triple threat match that Adam Cole, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne had, like back in NXT, like in October. So I think, it'd be just as awesome as that. Then we have the next match. It's the NXT Women's Championship match. Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim. Shayna Baszler's defending the title, and obviously, they have a history with each other because they've had past matches with each other in the Indies and also in NXT. And you have Mia Yim, who's been on a roll in NXT, beating people like Bianca Belair, Aaliyah, and she wanted to go after the NXT Women's title. I really like, too, how they made her look like a small competitor by taking out Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke in the parking lot or in the Performance Center. And, yeah, I just really like it. Now, is it going to be enough for Mia Yim to win the championship? And I get to answer the question first. I don't think this is the time yet for Shayna Baszler to lose the title. I think Shayna Baszler is going to retain the championship, and I actually think she's going to do it without any help. This is going to make Shayna Baszler look really dominant, because I don't think it's quite time for her to lose the title, because I don't think she's going to get the call-up just yet. Yeah. Plus, I don't really want her to get called up, because I just have a feeling that she's going to get ruined if she gets called up. But yeah, I predict that Shayna Baszler will win, and I think she's going to, put the Kirifuda clutch on Mia Yim. Because I don't think Mia Yim is quite a strong enough opponent to take the title off of Shayna Baszler. So that's just my thoughts. I think Shayna Baszler retains the title. So what about you? Who are you picking to win this match?
Oh, Baszler's going to retain. I don't see Mia Yim winning it yet. If she does at all, I don't see it right now. I don't see her being, like I said, she took out, as she called on her promo video for NXT recently, Shayna's two bitches, as she said, as we talked about last night on What's NXT. So, no, I say Shayna Baszler's going to retain. Now, whether she does it by herself, I kind of question that, because I don't know. Could come down to something where her two friends do come down because they want retribution, because Mia Yim did beat the crap out of them, take them out. They may end up being the difference in the match. I want to see that Shayna Baszler of old, that one that was dominant, that didn't need her friends to help. Like I said, they're doing great with that. And then lately, since she's had her friends with her, like I said, it's been making her look like the chicken shit champion that has to rely on her friends to be able to win matches. I don't really like that. I want to go back to Shayna Baszler, that was just whipping ass and choking people out and taking names.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have the main event of the show, which I just gave away my bonus point. It's the NXT Championship match, 2 out of 3 falls. Adam Cole defending the title against Johnny Gargano it's basically a 3 stages of hell match. They're not calling it a 3 stages of hell match. I don't know why, but they're not. But they both were able to pick the stipulations of the match, at least 2 of them. Adam Cole picked just a traditional one-on-one match, which actually makes sense because, he's beaten Johnny Gargano twice in a one-on-one match, technically. And then Johnny Gargano picked a street fight, since that's kind of his specialty, because, he's beaten, people in street fights in the past. And then William Regal, if it gets to that point, is going to pick the 3rd fall. So what we're picking in this match is the winner and what the 3rd fall will be if it gets to that point. I believe I went first last time, so I'll let you go first this time. Who wins? What's the 3rd fall?
Cole's going to win the match. And I think William Regal foreshadowed it on what's on NXT recently. He's talking about only he knows the 3rd fall, and it's close to the best. It's something close to him. So if I was betting, William Regal was when he was wrestling, he was very good at submissions. He had the Regal stretch. He was good at submissions. So I see the 3rd fall being a submission match.
All right. So I got to do my prediction. I'm going to pick the same pick for the winner, Adam Cole. I do think we're going to get that, image to end off the show of each member of Undisputed Era you know, standing tall with all the titles at the end of the night. And plus, too, like, there's no reason to flip-flop the title. And, you know, what happens to Johnny Gargano now? I think this might be Gargano's last match in NXT, because afterwards there's really nothing left for him to do in NXT, because he's done everything. But, you know, I really would like to see Gargano stay in NXT, unless he's going to go to 205 Live, because I think he could be used really well there. But as for the third fall, now I was going to say a ladder match, but they kind of just recently been doing a lot of ladder matches lately, in the Money in the Bank ladder match and in the NXT title ladder match. So I don't think it's going to be a ladder match. I'm going to say that it's going to be a steel cage match. I think, you know, that's the perfect way to kind of cultivate the 3 stages of hell match and kind of cultivate this feud, is have it be contested inside of a steel cage. So, because I think it is going to be a third fall. They're not going to, you know, not have a third fall. I think that's because, you know, they would have given away the third fall if it was going to have one.
Yes, it's been a long time since we had any wrestling match that had 2 out of 3 fall stipulation that didn't go to a third fall.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's not. And I feel like, too, they changed it up this time, too, because the main roster did a lot of 2 out of 3 falls matches recently. And they don't, you know, they know that, like, we're going to be sick of it because we've seen it so often. So this was a nice way to change it up. So I like that NXT adapted here. Plus, we just saw the 2 out of 3 falls match, like, traditionally at NXT TakeOver New York. There's no reason to do it again. And you know, so there you go. Now we have to predict. Well, actually, too, one final match we do have to predict for our rundown league is the dog match that's going to be on the show, which is going to be Breezango versus Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake of the Forgotten Sons. I'll just go first predicting. I think Breezango wins. They just reunited as a team. It's Fandango's return to NXT, which I really like the fact that, you know, a lot of the main roster guys are being sent back down to NXT. It's something that we've suggested for a while. You have Breezango down there. You have Killian Dane now is back down there, which I really enjoy his stuff with this feud with Matt Riddle. And then you had Apollo Crews just recently go down there to wrestle Kushida. So I'm enjoying that they're doing that. I don't know if it's because AEW started up and they're afraid that, you know, people are going to walk out and go to AEW. So maybe that's why they're doing it now. That could be it. But yeah, I say Breezango wins. What about you? Who do you think wins, Breezango or Cutler and Blake?
Breezango, I think they're going to come back with a whole new look and a whole new attitude, and it's going to be a different version of Breezango we haven't seen before.
Well, they did say they need a makeover, so.
Yep. They did say that.
And now we're going to predict the match order. This is for both leagues. I'll go first. I think the match order is going to be, first match will be Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. Then I think it's going to be the NXT Tag Team title match, then the North American title match, the Women's title match, and then obviously the main event being the NXT Championship match. I'll repeat it because I said it kind of fast, but, you know, Noah's sake when he has to watch this back. I think it's going to be Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, then the NXT Tag Team Championship match, then the North American title match, the Women's title match, and then the NXT Championship match. What about you? What do you think the match order is?
I'm going with the general order. I think the last time they surprised us and didn't do a tag title match the first time, I think this time around, get a hot open, you're going to do the tag title match first, then you're going to do the grudge match, then you're going to do North American title, Women's title, and NXT title. Pretty much, you can always predict the 4th and 5th one are going to be right. It's always the first 3 that get switched around, so I'm going with the general's order on that one.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's our NXT TakeOver Toronto 2 predictions. One other NXT thing I want to talk about, you know, real quick before we move on, is the breakout tournament, because, you know, I haven't really talked about that yet. Basically, I'm surprised that match is not on the show, because, you know, that's been, you know, built up the past few weeks. I'm kind of fairly surprised it's not on the show, but I thoroughly enjoyed that tournament. You know, I like the fact that it's, you know, a nice way to introduce 8 new superstars. You have Jordan Miles and Cameron Grimes, who advanced to the finals, and it's been a really damn good tournament. You know, it was a nice way to introduce everybody. Not a fan of some of the name changes. I like some of them. Like, I don't really mind Cameron Grimes. I don't really like Jordan Miles' new name. That's kind of stupid. What else we have? We have Dexter Loomis. I like that name. I don't mind it. And then you have Bronson Reed. That name's not bad. Not a fan of Isaiah Swerve Scott's new name. I think that's kind of stupid. Or Quinn Wild. That's kind of stupid. But yeah, the tournament though has been very fun. It's been we've seen some very good matches in the tournament. What about you? What do you think of the new Breakout Style tournament?
I think it was a good idea. You take your new talent you have and you put them in a tournament, and then, like I said, the winner gets any title opportunity he wants to challenge for. So, like I said, I think Grimes, I'm going to keep calling him Grimes. Grimes is going to end up winning this, is what I'm thinking is going to happen. And I think he'll end up challenging for, like, the North American title.
Yeah. Well, is it only NXT, like, belts? Can you challenge for, like, the Cruiserweight or the UK
title? The winner can challenge either for the NXT title, North American title, or the tag titles, and you can pick a partner to challenge.
Yeah, it's really tough to say. I might say, Jordan Miles might win, and he'll challenge for the, North American title, or the NXT title. That'd be something. But that's really because everything else in NXT that's been going on, we've kind of covered because it's all on Takeover. But now we have the main roster, which isn't the most fun thing to talk about. It's SummerSlam 2019. Now, there was probably more matches added to the show, but I'm just going to go based off Noah's graphic because everyone else has already done their predictions, and it's not really fair for us to, add extra points onto ourselves because we would automatically win. But I'll ask the same question as I asked in the NXT TakeOver Toronto 2 predictions. On a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you for SummerSlam?
I'm going to say 7. There's a couple matches I'm intrigued about, but other than that, it's going to be interesting. There's a couple matches I'm really intrigued about. I'm looking forward to. Other than that, it's just like, at least it's only 10 matches so far, so that's always a plus. Yeah. At the time of recording, it's only 10 matches they have announced. They haven't added anything else, so.
Yeah, it's really weird for this show. Maybe because I've been, doing a lot of stuff when it came to Florida, so I've been so busy, but there's matches I'm intrigued about. The card on paper, if you really look at it, actually looks very fantastic, on paper. But like I said, this is also the main roster. They can, they found a way to ruin AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's not forget. So,
yeah.
So if they can ruin that if they can ruin that, they can ruin anything. But I do think it doesn't really feel like too that they really built SummerSlam as like a big deal, because it doesn't feel like a big pay-per-view, but the card looks very good. I'm actually more excited for SummerSlam than I was for WrestleMania this past year. So I think that's a good thing. So I might agree with you. I'm gonna go 7. I'm actually, I think too Raw's actually I think been better lately. SmackDown not so much, but Raw's been improving. Yeah, I think obviously I might be in the minor, but I think Raw's been improving lately. It's not I'm not saying it's like A shows, but it's Raw's progressively I think getting better by week by week. And I think that if they don't if the booking's not bad and they don't overcomplicate everything, I actually think we could get a very good SummerSlam this year. So
I think we can too if they don't overcomplicate everything.
Yeah, but that's obviously TBD. But obviously too, they bumped a couple of matches off of SummerSlam. They bumped the women's tag team title match, which really not surprised about. I mean, basically, there's no tag team title matches on this show. There's no, men's or women's.
And that's kind of surprising not to have a women's tag team title match, a Raw tag team title match, or a SmackDown tag team title match. That's really, interesting how all three of the tag titles are not being defended here on this show.
Well,
nor do we have a Roman Reigns match right now, not a match for Drew McIntyre. There's a few people that are off this show that I'm really intrigued about right now, why they're not on this show right now. But you never know. If SummerSlam comes up and after we're done recording, they can announce 5 more matches and we'll be with 15 matches wanting to strangle ourselves. You don't know.
And they also bumped, Aleister Black versus Sami Zayn because Vince rewrote SmackDown at the last minute, and he wanted something to fill time on SmackDown. So, what's kind of sucked because I actually kind of was looking forward to that match. But
I was looking forward to. They could have had an NXT style match and on the SummerSlam with Black and Zayn. So
yeah. And then as for the tag title matches, I'm not really surprised as much with the Raw because of everything that happened with Jimmy Uso. So they kind of really can't really do a Raw tag title match. And then the SmackDown I'm actually surprised about because it's on the New Day. So I was kind of surprised about that one. And then the women's I'm not surprised about because the women's tag title match basically don't exist. Well, I should say not the matches, but the women's tag team titles themselves, basically in the eyes of the main roster, don't exist because they're never on the shows. So, I'm hoping that changes now that Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have won the titles because they always feature Alexa Bliss, but that's a topic for another day. But let's talk about the show. As of right now, and I repeat this, as of right now, there's no kickoff match, but we know what's going to happen because they've tricked us twice with the kickoff match. And speaking of that, we have the first match that's listed right here, the Cruiserweight title match between Drew Gulak and Oney Lorcan. Obviously, we have Oney Lorcan who earned the title match at a six-pack challenge, which you should go watch. It's really fucking good. Gulak and Lorcan is what I think. Obviously, you could say that the story really isn't there because it was just added this week, but I don't really think this is the type of match that needs a storyline. You could just have them announced and people are going to be hyped for it because I'm already hyped for it. I think this is going to be a stiff match, and I think if given the time, they can really put on a quality cruiserweight title match. But if it gets like 7 minutes, like Gulak and Nice did at Extreme Rules, then I think it's going to be fairly disappointing. But I'll let you go first. Since I went, I think I went first last time. But who do you pick wins this match and why?
Gulak's going to retain the Cruiserweight title. They didn't do. I'm a big proponent with 205 Live, so you see, like I said, I'm on almost every week on 205 Live Manners with a Simple Man. Pretty much Gulak. There wasn't really no storyline to this. I thought they were going one way where Canellis was going to get the title shot. They didn't do it that way. They went with the six-pack challenge. Lorcan got a title shot. There's really no storyline. They have had a past history, as Noah explained. They've had 3 matches in the Independence before, which Gulak has won all 3. So I'm going to give that credit to Noah there because he told me about all that. So in this match, I see Gulak retaining, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have this only match where I wouldn't be surprised to do something like a double pin or something like that. But for my predictions right now, so we have to pick winners and losers. They rarely ever do draws in the main roster anymore. I'm going with Gulak to retain.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gulak to retain. Gulak, I think with this new gimmick and stuff, shouldn't lose this title for a long time. I think he should just have a strangled hold on the division until he drops the title. I would honestly, if I was booking this, I would have him hold the title to WrestleMania. With the way his gimmick's going. Yeah, I say Gulak retains the Cruiserweight title. I actually could see them doing even if Gulak wins clean, I could still see them doing a rematch since, they just started this feud and they could have Lorcan, really work hard to get a rematch and then he could have the rematch at the next pay-per-view. But I think Gulak retains. Obviously I know you and Noah, really want this to make the main card, and I do too, but I don't really want to get my hopes up because, I've gotten my hopes up for it, and then literally the day of the pay-per-view, they'll add it to the main code. So, So there you go. And plus, too, I can't rant and rave about it as much as you and Noah can. Because you were recently on the debate show, so.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then we have the match for me. That's a double-edged sword because both of the competitors that are in the match, I don't like. Which is Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. Now I will say I don't not dislike Goldberg, but I'm just not a huge fan of Goldberg. Not really like a big Goldberg mug like everybody else is. And then Dolph Ziggler I just flat out don't like. So it's like this match is a double-edged sword for me. The tiebreaker too for this match is how long the match is gonna go. Yeah. I wish this match would go 0 seconds and 0 minutes because this doesn't happen at all. Yeah, I get why they're doing it because they want to make up for that crappy match that Goldberg had at Super Showdown. Yep. But yeah, you know what? I have to really pick with who I hate more, and I hate Dolph Ziggler like a lot. Like literally, if he has a match, I fast right. If I DVR SmackDown or whatever, I skip it. At least with Goldberg, I watch his stuff because I'm interested enough in his stuff. With Dolph Ziggler, he's just a stain in my existence, and I want him to gone. So I'm going to say Goldberg wins in 30 seconds. And I know that's probably illogical, but I hate Dolph Ziggler so much, so I'm going illogical. Goldberg wins in 30 seconds. Have him squash this dude and get both of them off my computer, because that's how I watch Raw and SmackDown every week. So that's my pick. Goldberg wins in 30 seconds. What about you?
My pick is Goldberg wins. He's going to win in 1:31.91 seconds because that would actually pay homage to when he first returned to Survivor Series and beat Lesnar in 91 seconds. It may be less than that, but I'm going to go with a safe bet and just say 91 seconds because if he can't beat Dolph Ziggler 91 seconds and can beat Lesnar 91 seconds, there's something wrong here.
Yeah. If Dolph Ziggler wins, too, and please, too, use this match to get Dolph Ziggler, just have him go do his comedy tour. Use this match to write Dolph Ziggler off my computer. Get him off my computer. Because, it's wasting my time to have to watch a Dolph Ziggler match every week. It's waste. All right, then we have the next match, which is a dream match. It's generation versus generation. And no, it's not the match you think it is, because we already had that match in AEW, but it's a different match. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. This match I'm very excited about. This match is probably the match I'm looking forward to the most of the women's matches. And this match just feels like a big match. Where you have Trish Stratus, who's from the past, and she called herself the Queen. Listen to her theme song. She calls herself the Queen. And you have Charlotte Flair, who also calls herself the Queen. You have Trish Stratus, who was a trailblazer in her generation. Charlotte Flair, who was a trailblazer in her generation. They both are like the two people that have held the women's titles in their generation the most. But Charlotte Flair cheated because she had 3 titles to go after, where Trish only had 1. But still, I predict though. Actually, no, you have to go first because I went first last time. Who wins this match, Charlotte Flair or Trish Stratus?
Charlotte Flair, and the reason why is I don't see bringing Trish Stratus back for have her a win over Charlotte. They gave Trish Stratus one of the best send-offs they could in the women's wrestling by having her win the title in her home country in her final match. She's come back. She's a couple times, one match at WrestleMania, one at Evolution, won those matches. I don't see there. She has nothing to prove left in her wrestling career. She's already a Hall of Famer. She has nothing else to prove here. Her putting Charlotte over would be an incredible win for Charlotte as she continues. And at least, like I said, this match right here is keeping Charlotte out of the women's title picture right now. So this would be an incredible win for Charlotte. And I think this actually be a good 15-minute match if they give them the time. And if we get that heel version of Trish Stratus we used to get, this is going to be a really good match. This is what I'm really intrigued about. But Charlotte for the win.
Yeah, I predict Charlotte Flair to win, but basically the same reason you said. They're saying, too, this might be like Trish Stratus' last match ever in professional wrestling because she's been either Instagramming or tweeting about it. I don't know which one. I think because I found it on ODQ's site, so I don't know if it was a tweet or an Instagram post. But But yeah, Charlotte Flair wins. Trish doesn't benefit. Charlotte Flair's going to be there long term. And I really think that, you could use this to really get heat for Charlotte Flair. So Charlotte Flair wins. Then we have the United States Championship match. United States Champion AJ Styles versus Ricochet. This match I'm also pretty excited about. Every time they've gotten into the ring with each other, it's been gold. Well, not every time, but it's been at least, good to really good. And I'm looking forward to it. As for who wins, I think AJ Styles retains the title. AJ Styles just won the title. He's doing really good things with the Only Club. God, I hate that name. But whatever. I know why they're doing that name, because it's a web on the Bullet Club, but I still hate the name. But yeah, I think AJ Styles retained his United States title, and he continues to run roughshod on Raw with the OC. What about you?
Styles to retain the U.S. title. He just won it recently. They don't need, if you want to reestablish a mid-card title this time with AJ Styles, to establish the U.S. title as a relevant mid-card title. So for that reason, they don't need to be playing hot potato with it right now. So I say Styles retains the U.S. title.
And also too, no Intercontinental title match, but that's probably changing soon. So.
Well, that happened last time.
Yeah. So they're probably doing it this time. That's probably going to be on the kickoff, too. But then we have probably one of the matches I'm looking forward to, the absolute most on this show. Finn Balor versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. This feud, I think, has been the best feud on the main roster. I know Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon's been really good, too. But that's mainly just because of Kevin Owens and not because of Shane McMahon. This feud just really works on so many levels because of Bray Wyatt's new character. He's the the child's kid-friendly persona first, and then he switches to the Fiend. He's been taking out legends, and Bray Wyatt's just really revigorated his career. I really think Bray Wyatt's doing some awesome things right now. And as for, actually, no, wait, you have to go first. Who do you think wins this match and why?
Bray Wyatt. This should actually have been what we actually had gotten years ago when they were feuding before Bray Wyatt got sick and wasn't able to compete, and we got that Balor Styles match instead, which was awesome. Wyatt needs to win. You come back with this new character. You've been off TV for a while. What I'm more disappointed in, it should have been the Fiend versus the Demon. They could have had the Demon finally get his first loss on the main roster. But I guess they're going to save that for a rematch later down the road. I don't want them doing 50-50 booking. If you're going to do this character, you need to do it justice and do it right and build it to the top. This is money right here, the way they've done everything with the Firehouse, Funhouse, or wherever I just said it. I remember a moment. However, they doing all their promos, so that this has been money. That mask is awesome. That's an incredible looking horror mask. I love horror movies. That's awesome. And they can make money with this character the way they got him right now. So Wyatt should easily win this match. And I just say he's gonna win it with that mandible claw. He's been using it the last couple weeks. So that may be the Fiend's finishes the mandible claw, and if Bray Wyatt wrestles just as Bray Wyatt, it'll be Sister Abigail still.
Yeah. I think, same. Bray Wyatt. Because if Bray Wyatt loses, then this gimmick basically is I guess a lot of people say, well, it's one loss, but this if he loses this first match in, the gimmick's already a bust. You basically should just stop the gimmick. And I think too, this shouldn't be a 50-50 back and forth match. This should be a one-sided match with Bray Wyatt getting 80% of the offense in. Balor should get some hope spots, but Bray Wyatt just continuously destroys Finn Balor. Because I hear Finn Balor's taking time off anyway, so why not, have Finn Balor just absolutely destroy. I'm sorry, I botched. Have Bray Wyatt absolutely destroy Finn Balor, because that would make sense. And that would really put Bray Wyatt on the map, because a 50-50 match, I don't really. It would still work, but I feel having Bray Wyatt really be dominant in this match really would send a statement that they're gonna take Bray Wyatt seriously. That's my opinion. But then we have the next match. It's Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, where if Kevin Owens loses, I must say if he wins, he quits. But if he loses, he quits. That'd be something. If he wins, he quits. That would be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Kevin Owens loses, he quits WWE. I have to make sure to say that because I guess he can just go anywhere else. And please have Kevin Owens win. You could do some interesting stuff where if Shane McMahon wins and Kevin Owens can like invade the show and quit and do like some type of like stuff where he stuns him and stuff. However, they have to have Kevin Owens win because if he loses, it's really going to hurt his momentum. Look what happened with The Miz. He's not even on the show. And The Miz's babyface character is a bust because he lost to Shane McMahon twice in a row. And I know Kevin Owens, they want to make like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could still do this. But I just feel like if Kevin Owens loses, it really hurts his momentum. So I think Kevin Owens needs to win. And please let this be the end of Shane McMahon's on-screen persona. Get him off my computer. So yeah, I say Kevin Owens wins. I think the match could be, really good. But yeah, I say Kevin Owens wins. But what about you?
Kevin Owens needs to win this match. Like I said, is it feasible that Shane McMahon can win? Yeah, I hope to God not. Like I said, if they're doing what they're trying to do when they did Vince versus Austin, Austin got fired and came back and started beating the crap out of people before he got rehired. That was a way different time ago. I don't think it'd work now. So my thing is Owens needs to win this match and get Shane off TV for a while.
Yeah. And then, I think Kevin Owens should feud with Samoa Joe afterwards. That'd be awesome. Then we have the WWE Championship match. WWE Champion Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. Love this feud. I really love how they're putting up the past history from 10 years ago where Randy Orton kept Kofi Kingston, out of the main event scene because that's basically what happened. And, I really love how they even utilized like how he took out Ali. Because, I can't call him his other name anymore because just can't do that, apparently. But yeah, he took out Ali and, injured him, and that led to Kofi Kingston getting his push. And I really just love, how they're really utilizing this feud. And you got to go first because I went first last time. Who do you think wins this match? Does Kofi Kingston retain the WWE Championship and finally avenge what happened to Randy Orton, or does Randy Orton just come in here, win the WWE Championship, and go on a tear with this title?
Orton needs to win. I mean, he's already established, but at this point, Orton needs to win. Kofi has been a bust as champion. He's lost a lot of momentum since building up to WrestleMania. If they would have kept him with that intense side, not with the whole pancakes, when he put pancakes behind my title and throw them out to the fans, stuff like that. If he had stayed that more serious, aggressive character after WrestleMania, I'd be swayed to go a different way. But with him doing it like this, and the reports that he's been a low-drawing champion in the house show, stuff like that, they're going to do something different. Orton's proved himself. Orton's had a history of being able to prove himself. So at this point, I'm going with Orton to become the new 15-time champion. Like I said, they've had 3 matches. They've had 3 single matches in their career. I know they were a long time ago, but Orton won the first one. Kofi won the second one. Orton finished the feud winning the last one. So we'll see. But I'd go with Orton right now to become champion right now.
I'm going to go the opposite. I think Kofi Kingston's going to avenge his loss from all that time ago, and I think he's going to retain the WWE Championship. That's just my opinion. I think Kofi Kingston retains. So, then we have the match I'm looking forward to the absolute least on this show, the SmackDown Women's title match. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley versus Ember Moon. This feud's been pretty shit. Because I think so anyways. Like, basically, both competitors look really bad. Bayley's character's really stale. And Ember Moon's has no momentum going into this match. I really don't know who wins. I'll just go out on a limb and just say that just to do something different, I'm going to say Ember Moon wins the SmackDown Tag titles, the SmackDown Women's Championship, and just wins it. Because why not? Bayley's probably signed a new deal. They've kept her happy enough where, she could just drop the title now and Ember Moon can win the SmackDown Women's title and go on to have a crappy reign as champion because they won't know how to book her as a champion. So I'll say Ember Moon wins the SmackDown Women's title. What about you?
I'm going with Bayley to retain. I don't think Dave, like I said, the storyline that he just gifted her a title match. Ember Moon didn't really earn a title match, and they've been having tit for tat. Well, I'll hit you with the Eclipse. I'll hit you with the Bayley to Bayley. They're playing tit for tat with stuff. There's no real. They're both faces. There's no really decisive who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. There's no decisiveness in that right now. So I see Bayley retaining, then Ember turning heel, and they continue to feud after she loses, and then she beats the crap out of Bayley after the match, and then they go further on with this feud and they continue with it.
All right. And then we have the submission match for the Raw Women's Championship. Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Yeah, pretty much this feud's not like bad, but like the content that they've had to give with has been pretty bad. But like, it has some logic behind it where, Becky Lynch feels like Natalya has been keeping her down, but Natalya hasn't done anything interesting enough. And I like the fact that they're doing a submission match because I think that would be good. But I just really, some of the stuff that they've done has been very cringy. So there's that. I think the match though will, be enough to save it. But as for who retains the title, even though it's in Natalya, it's in Toronto, it's in Natalya's hometown. WWE has a track record, at least main roster, to not put over the hometown people. I know they've kind of done it somewhat, but I know they've, mathematically and statistically hasn't been enough to convince me otherwise. They're not going to do that. Plus, I think if Becky Lynch was going to lose the Raw Women's Championship, it's not going to be to Natalya. I think Becky Lynch retains the Raw Women's title and just moves on. So it's kind of interesting that Natalya is going to kind of come in as the heel in this match because it's in Toronto. But yeah, it's just really weird. But I think Becky Lynch retains the Raw Women's Championship. And she's going to do it with a disarm her. Because it's a pun. But who do you think wins?
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to tell you to win a title. I think the last time everybody underestimated her to win a title at SummerSlam, she beat Naomi to win the SmackDown Women's title. I'm not going to put it past her again. I think that she has a great shot at winning the submission match and becoming the new Raw Women's champion and giving something Becky to do. Becky's lost a lot of steam too. But I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going on a bold prediction. I would not be surprised if we don't hear Ronda Rousey's music come out during the match and maybe cause some kind of shenanigans where she may end up helping Natalya to make sure she gets her locked in the sharpshooter and make sure. And we may not get Becky tapping out. We may get her see some kind of scenario like Austin and Bret Hart. We won't get the blood though, but we may get a scenario like that where she passes out to the pain. She doesn't tap out, but she passes out and can't continue, and Natalya wins.
All right. Then we have the main event. It's the Universal Championship match, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. Another match I don't care about at all. Because they really have made Seth Rollins look like a weak challenger. It's not just them. He's done it himself because he's been such a whiny bitch lately on social media by, comparing paydays with wrestlers, calling out Jon Moxley for saying he took his ball and went home. And I'll say again, I know a lot of people would disagree with me, but he didn't take his ball and go home. He finished his contract out and he left respectively. If he had just left when his contract was still intact, that would have been taking his ball and going home. But that's different. And Seth Rollins, I personally, he's just been such a piece of shit lately. I want to see Brock Lesnar just maul Seth Rollins. I know that's not going to do anything ratings-wise. I know that's not going to do anything to help the product, but it's going to help me. And right now, sometimes you're just going to look out for yourself. And I'm looking out for myself here. I want Brock Lesnar to absolutely murder and destroy Seth Rollins and retain that Universal title. Plus, they haven't done enough to build Seth Rollins to beat Brock Lesnar, and I just don't see him losing the Universal title. But I just want to see, because Seth Rollins didn't really work as a Universal champion, which sucks. It's not his fault because he was in crappy storylines, but he just proved with the way he acts on social media that he's not ready to hold the top title and handle criticism. So Brock Lesnar wins this match, and please, just for everybody, destroy this dude. What about you?
Lesnar, he's going to retain the title. I don't, like I said, here, I want that shit to everybody, just explain everybody logically. Rollins cashing money back on Lesnar beating him at WrestleMania 31. It took Rollins kicking him and hitting him with low blows and hitting 3 curb stomps to beat him at WrestleMania 35. Everybody cried about Lesnar winning Money Bank. Yeah, it was aggravating he won Money Bank, and everybody cried that he cashed in. But you know what? Storytelling-wise, it worked great. He was getting his payback. Hey, you screwed me at WrestleMania 31. You had to cheat and low blow me to beat me for the title. I'm getting payback. I'm getting my title back. He got his payback. He got his comeuppance. People don't look at it that way. They're like, oh, it's Lesnar. He's part-time. Okay, yeah, he's part-time, and I hate the fact he's part-time too, just like everybody else. But you know what? From a storyline, they made it work. They referenced WrestleMania 31. They referenced WrestleMania this year. Everything that happened. This is Lesnar paying Rollins back. So I think at this point, since, Rollins beat him at 31 to cash in, he beat him at 35. It's time for Brock Lesnar to get his win over Rollins and then continue to be Universal Champion. As much as I despise it, Rollins, I'm sorry, you've been a whiny little bitch on Instagram, bitching and whining and moaning about everybody and talking shit about everybody. And no, Moxley didn't take his ball and went home. He finished out his contract. He did everything that was asked of him to do. Taking your ball and going home would have been what Austin did back in 2000, in the 2000s when he did that. That's taking your ball and going home. In 2002, that's not what Moxley did. He finished out his contract, and he went on to bigger and better things, in his opinion.
Yeah.
So Lesnar's going to retain this title.
Yep. And that's SummerSlam. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's still a 7, but yeah, I notice sometimes when we talk about the main roster shows, my excitement goes down. I don't know why that is, but for some reason that happens. But yeah, so we did the predictions for SummerSlam, and also before we came on the air. But yeah, so Noah, we have those. Was there any tiebreakers I missed from the other leagues? Because I only did my league, the Rundown League.
No, the only tiebreaker we had for SummerSlam was how fast Goldberg was going to win. And the only bets we got going on is with the NXT TakeOver with me and Jerry. Whoever loses is going to do the Carlton dance, whether he does it while he's at Toronto or I have to do an NXT party. So that'll be something to stay tuned to if I lose my NXT TakeOver predictions.
Better hope you don't lose.
Hey, I've done the Carlton dance before too. They caught me on Facebook when I worked at Waffle House, so I'm good.
There you go. But we're going to talk about some NXT UK just for a little bit, since it's been a while since I talked about it. We're mainly just going to talk about like the recent stuff, the last show, not the whole thing, but just some big stuff that's going on. I'm just going to get my notes up for it, because we're officially on the build to NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, which I'm very excited about. It's not not obviously the next weekend, but it's the weekend. It's the end of the month, so it's in like 2 weeks.
It's August 31st, the same day as AEW's All Out.
Yep. And I think that show will be awesome as well. I don't know. I think that's going to be, like the third best wrestling show that we'll see. I think it's going to. I think it's going to be either AEW All Out, or TakeOver at like top 2. Because obviously it depends to what happens at All Out. But I think TakeOver and All Out are going to be fantastic shows. Then it would be UK TakeOver Cardiff, and then it might be like SummerSlam will be the worst one. But you never know. SummerSlam could surprise us. Extreme Rules surprised us, so never know. But yeah, let's just talk about, some of the things that's been going on in NXT UK. So I'm mainly going to start with episode 53. Like I said, not going to go over every little thing, but that's kind of the time frame I'm starting with, just so you kind of know. So that was the episode where Trent Seven tried to avenge British Strong Style. And, he was going to face Walter in the main event and, try to defeat him. And he failed. He got destroyed pretty much. He got, 4 power bombs in a row.
No, he got one on the turnbuckle on the hardest part of the ring, outside of the ring. Then he got 5 more afterwards for the match when the ref rang the bell. So he got 6 total power bombs.
So, yeah, I really like Imperium thus far as a faction. They really are doing everything that they said they're going to do. They've basically destroyed British Strong Style. Well, up until the next episode, but at that point, they basically had destroyed British Strong Style. They sent Pete Dunne back into NXT. They destroyed Trent Seven, and they destroyed Tyler Bate just before that. And I really like it. I really like how they're making like each member of the group strong. You know, Alexander Wolf has been looking strong in his matches. He defeated recently Jordan Devlin in a match, which I don't know if Jordan Devlin's face or not. I think that'd be interesting if he did, because, you know, he's kind of done everything he could do as a heel, but that's a different story. You have Aichner and Bartel, who are tearing it up as a tag team right now, so I'm enjoying Imperium. Then on the next episode, Tyler Bate returned, and he attacked Walter, and, wanted to get revenge for Imperium putting him on the shelf. So the match was made official at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. It's going to be Walter defending the United Kingdom title against Tyler Bate, which that makes a ton of sense. I'm actually really looking forward to that match. I think that match will be very intriguing. It's going to be Tyler Bate, the big strong boy, versus Walter. And I'm feeling a change in the guard, too. It feels like, that the old era of the NXT UK is coming to an end. You have, Pete Dunne now in NXT, which he could go back to NXT UK someday, but as of right now, he's in NXT. You have you have Trent Seven, who basically got destroyed, and you have Tyler Bate, who's been destroyed. But I don't know, it just kind of feels like the old era. It feels like we're in kind of a new era of NXT UK. Because I expect Walter to win and retain, but obviously we'll talk about that more when we get to our predictions. But what do you think of this Imperium stuff? Do you feel like we're entering a new era of NXT UK, or what?
I'm looking for one or two scenarios to happen here. I feel like Imperium at this point is going to end up getting all the gold, as much gold as they can, because you only have the tag titles left to get in NXT UK right now. So I feel like Aichner and Bartel are going to win the tag titles eventually. Like I said, right now they built the program, building up with the Grizzly Young Veterans and Gallus. I've already said before, I think Gallus is going to win those tag titles, and then they're going to end up feuding with Imperium. And we might see a War Games match between either Gallus or Imperium from the UK brand, or we may end up seeing Imperium with all the gold versus Undisputed Era at War Games. That's what I keep predicting for and keep hoping to see. Got to do something a little bit different, because like I said, there's only 2 sets of belts to challenge for right now. You don't have that secondary title. And the only other scenario I'm kind of intrigued in is if Pete Dunne later down the road does win the NXT title, and he goes back to NXT UK with the NXT title and challenges Walter title for title, and to make it Walter Dunne 3, and they could have a final conclusion in their match. Because their second one everybody has disagreements on it. I know some people loved it, some people hated the ending. I was just in between with the ending. I understand why they did it that way, but he did get a decisive win, but it was a bunch of controversy. I want him to have that match they had like they did at TakeOver, not the match they had on NXT UK. So.
Oh, yeah, I remember, too. We were on this. That was the week we were on NXT party together, too, actually. We were on that episode.
Yep, well, we are, and you heard me debate about it then, too. Some people liked it, some people didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, basically that's everything going on with the NXT UK title scene. As for the women's title scene, Kay Lee Ray and Toni Storm are feuding. I really like, because Kay Lee Ray won that Battle Royal on that episode's back.
Mm-hmm.
And now she announced she wants to have the title match at UK TakeOver Cardiff. I really like how they're bringing up the past with each other. How they used to be friends. But the Kay Lee Ray that Toni Storm is seeing now isn't the same Kay Lee Ray that she traveled the road with. And she's disappointed because they've always dreamt of coming in here as friends. And I really like this feud. I like how it's kind of getting personal. And Kay Lee Ray said that she was going to make Toni Storm's life a living hell until the title match, which hasn't really happened yet because she hasn't really been on the show, in person. I guess you could say she is because she's playing mind games with her, but like I thought she would do more like evil things to make her life a living hell. But like I said, they still have a couple more weeks. Maybe bring up like the Instagram pictures that she's been posting lately, because that's something a champion wouldn't do. But maybe they don't want to bring that up because when with Triple H's brand of wrestling, he doesn't really like to bring up how the women look pretty. He wants them to kind of be looked at as athletes, so that's probably not going to happen. You probably don't know what I'm talking about because you don't follow Toni Storm on Instagram, but yeah, pretty much Toni Storm has been posing with like herself in like bikinis and such, and I think if Kaylee Way brought that up, she could bring up the fact that like that's not what a champion should do, but obviously that's not going to happen. But yeah, I really like the feud. I like how it's getting personal, and I think because I still have 2 more shows before NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. I think the feud will get more personal. And we have that because we also did have that 6-woman tag where Kaylee Way's like team 1, so we have that. But what about you? What do you think of like the NXT UK Women's Title feud going into NXT UK Takeover Cardiff?
Well, anybody who's heard me on the Tea Party knows I'm not a fan of Toni Storm and that shiny bullshit. She take that shiny and shove it up her ass. I'm tired of hearing that catchphrase. So I was so happy the last episode she didn't say it for once. It's a miracle. But Toni Storm's title reign has been lackluster to me. Like I said, she could have easily lost to Ripley in the rematch because Ripley dominated the majority of that match. Like I said, that's not how a champion should look. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that Kaylee Ray wins the NXT UK Women's title and takes it off Toni Storm. They need to do something different at this point because Toni Storm to me isn't working well as a champion. So,
especially too because she's beaten everyone there is to beat now in NXT UK. So if she beats Kaylee Ray, who does she go after next?
I mean, she only would have Jazzy. And yeah. She had, or unless Toni Storm for some reason turn heel, then you have a new set of competition to face. But I don't know. Anything's possible, though. You never know what's going to happen on the NXT UK. It's not as predictable as some, like the main roster. It's not as predictable.
Yeah. And then, you have everything going on with the tag title situation. Basically, Gallus wants to go after the NXT UK the NXT UK tag titles. And Gibson and the Grizzled Young Veterans are fine with that. And basically, they're fine with it, but they basically say, but we don't make the matches. Johnny Saint makes the matches. And, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster want to go after the titles, mainly because it's in the hometown, so they want to be a part of NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, which makes sense. And basically, everyone's kind of laughing at them, saying that you haven't earned it, because before, really, I think it was this week's episode, Flash Morgan Webster had been injured and he hadn't really been teaming with Mark Andrews. And I like how they're using that because I was even thinking when they came out, you guys haven't done anything in weeks. Mark Andrews has been going in this alone. But it looks like I like how they're going with it. And on next week's episode of NXT UK, it's going to be Flash Morgan Webster versus Mark Coffey. And he's probably going to win that match, and then, that will kind of put Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster in line to, be in the match. I wouldn't complain if they won because I like them, but I just don't think they're a formidable tag team right now to be the champions. I think the Grizzled Young Veterans should retain the titles, or you have Gallus win the tag titles and do what you said, have him feud with Imperium for the titles eventually and do that Gallus Imperium match. Either War Games or whatnot. Obviously War Games would be tough because it's usually 4-on-4, so you would have to have somebody else join up with Gallus. But I'm assuming they could work around that. They can find someone else that's a babyface to join up with them, like they did when with Roderick Strong joined up with AOP back at Takeover War Games, the first one. So they could do something like that. But what about you? What do you think of this tag title situation?
Make it a triple threat. That way, if you can use Flash Gordon Webster and Mark Andrews as the fall people, you can have Gallus pin them so the Grizzly Young Veterans can have something to complain about so they can look strong and they can lose the titles without having to be pinned.
Honestly, too, the thing is, Grizzly Young Veterans, too, you could say it's time for a title change, but, I mean, even if they retain the titles, I wouldn't complain about it because they've been really doing really well as NXT UK Tag Team Champions. You know, they have really good matches. Zach Gibson, anytime he gets a microphone, everyone pays attention and he gets a reaction. He's probably the best mic worker in NXT UK, I think so right now.
Yeah,
so
that'd be my idea for what they need to do at that point. But like I said, one comment on your thing, we talked about Imperium versus Gallus and War Games. They could always rely on a friend, enemy of my friend becomes my friend scenario, and they can recruit Mastiff if they had to do a 4-on-4 War Games.
Yeah, pretty much. And then another match that looks like that's going to get added to NXT UK Takeover Cardiff is going to be Travis Banks versus Noam Dar, because this week Noam Dar, he just recently finished off his feud with Kenny Williams. That was pretty good. And he just beat Ashton Smith. Ashton Smith randomly returned, which I'm happy about, but, he's basically enhancement talent. But Noam Dar said that he has in his contract that he's guaranteed a match at NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, pretty much. And, Travis Banks came out and basically said that, Noam Dar's lying. He has it on a shot just like everybody else, and he basically talked trash to him. So it looked, and, Travis Banks said that he was going to be damned that he was going to miss this NXT UK takeover since he missed the Blackpool one. So it looks like we're going to get Travis Banks versus Noam Dar, which I like. I think that match could be real good. And I like the way they're setting that up right now. I expect them to do something where they'll have a face-to-face competition next week, and then obviously, because I think we have two more shows right before UK Takeover Cardiff, I believe. We have this one next week's, and then the week after that. So, what about you? What do you think of the starting stages of the setup of Travis Banks and Noam Dar's feud?
Like I said, it's going to be a good matchup. It'd be a good showcase for them at TakeOver, so I'm not going to complain about it all. And I'm just really, like I said, it'll be interesting. Let's see how they play it out, though. Travis Banks is hit or miss sometimes. Like I said, ever since saw him on that episode 27, they had that stupid double count out. I'll never forget that first match I ever watched of it. I'll never forget that. Like I said, he's had his good moments, gotten injured, has ups and downs. But so is Noam Dar. He's been injured too. So like I said, let's see if these two can put on a clinic and steal the show at NXT UK's next show.
And then another match that looks like that's going to happen at NXT UK Takeover Cardiff is Joe Coffey versus Dave Mastiff. They've basically been feuding since the setup of that four-way match that they had a while back where they attacked them. And they had a match this week where they both basically beat the shit out of each other so much that they got each other double counted out, which I like because, kind of continues that feud. And, basically Dave Mastiff wants to continue to go after him. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I think that match might have a stipulation, like maybe no holds barred. So I'm actually looking forward to that match. And I really think that could be intriguing. What about you? What about that one?
It was an interesting way to finish. They kind of booked themselves in the corner booking this match because, like I said, you can't want Mastiff taking a loss, but then you don't want Coffey taking a loss either if you're trying to build them both up. So, I mean, the way they did this with a double count out worked great. Like I said, they're going to have a finish to the match in their next encounter, whether they do, like you said, no holds barred. They're going to have some kind of finish. But don't book any kind of match like a last man standing where we have the same scenario. It could be a double count out and they both lose and stuff like that. Let's make sure we have a decisive winner in the match.
And then it looks like we're going to get the Rhea Ripley Piper Niven rematch. We finally got the first one-on-one encounter at the Download Festival. I think it was 3 weeks ago or something like that. And Piper Niven won the first one. And then Rhea Ripley, they brawled this week in the tag match, costing them the match with, Ginny and Jazzy Gabbert. And yeah, I mean, if they do a rematch with that match, whether that's, the dark match of the show or, actually on the show, because I know typically NXT shows like to have 5 matches on the actual shows themselves. So we'll probably have the tag title match, Walter versus Tyler Bates, Joe Coffey versus Dave Mastiff, Tony Storm versus um, Kaylee Ray, and we'll probably either have. I think we're gonna have Piper Niven versus Rhea Ripley in like a big blow-off match. And I think Rhea Ripley needs to get the win there. I know we're not doing the predictions, but I'm just saying this as opinion because Rhea Ripley feels like that she's kind of been losing a lot lately, and it doesn't really feel like that she has a lot of momentum behind her since her feud with Toni Storm. But then it doesn't really blow off the feud either because it's 50-50 booking and no one's going to get over. So it looks like Piper Niven might win, and maybe Rhea Ripley, if she wants to stay fresh, can go over to NXT and, challenge Shayna Baszler for the title because I actually would like to see Shayna Baszler versus Rhea Ripley. So what about you? Your thoughts on like the whole Piper Niven, Rhea Ripley's like feud, and obviously if that gets added to the NXT UK Takeover Cardiff show.
This feud had a lot of hype and no substance. They said Nevin hasn't impressed me at all. I feel like Rhea Ripley should have won the first match and just went ahead and be done with it. Why Nevin got the win, I understand they're trying to build her up. She has not been impressive. She had a lot of hype and no substance. Hasn't impressed me not a damn bit. I'd rather have Rhea Ripley get her win back and just be completely dominant over Piper Niven.
And then a match we have set up for next week is Ilya Dragunov versus Cassius Ohno. I don't know how popular of an opinion this is, but I've actually really enjoyed Cassius Ohno's gimmick in NXT UK, where he thinks like he's the best British wrestler in the world, and everyone else kind of got stupid about British wrestling, and he knows all the facts about it. Where he talks about how all the UK superstars are doing super kicks, but they are doing the American style version versus the British style, and they've forgotten their roots. And I just really enjoy how he's like basically being a dick about it. And I really like, because I feel like Cassius Ohno's just really reinvigorated his career with this gimmick, because in NXT he really was not really doing much in NXT. He really was a small fish in a big pond. Here he's able to kind of be a big fish in a small pond. Not saying that NXT UK is a small pond, but basically Cassius Ohno has really invigorated his career, and I think me and Noah called that this match was going to happen. We thought this match would have happened at NXT UK Takeover Cardiff, because it would have made sense. You have Cassius Ohno continuously shitting on people's British wrestling style, and then Ilya Dragunov would do something about it. But they're going to do the match next week instead, because Ilya Dragunov did like an interview where he had the lights off, and Cassius Ohno just came in and turned the lights on and said, "What's going on in here?" And he got all scared. So that match will be interesting. I think Ilya Dragunov probably will get the win on Cassius Ohno, because Cassius Ohno is kind of in the position where he's kind of in the position to put guys over. He recently just put over Mark Andrews. I wish he had beat Mark Andrews, because then that way when Ilya Dragunov beats him, it'd be a bigger deal. But, that's obviously just my opinion. But I still am looking forward to that match. It'll be interesting, because this will be like the first time Ilya Dragunov will wrestle someone that's really the size of Cassius Ohno. So it'll be interesting. But what about you? Your thoughts on the start and stages of the setup of an Ilya Dragunov Cassius Ohno feud?
It's not really a match I'm really thrilled to see, but we're going to see it. So I think Dragunov, like I said, he hadn't been really impressed with me either at the beginning. He's starting to catch on a little bit. I'd rather have Ohno win. I just don't see it, because Ohno at this point is pretty much just enhancing everybody. So I say Dragunov's going to get the win.
And I believe, I think we basically hit everything in NXT UK. Overall, I think NXT UK, is still a really strong show. Basically, NXT UK and NXT, basically week to week, are always, I think, really strong shows. Pretty much. I thoroughly enjoy them every week. They give me something that keeps me tuning in every week. So I just want to make sure we talk about that type of stuff, just because it's been a while since I've talked about it. And I think basically we hit everything that we wanted to talk about, unless is there anything else in WWE that I didn't say that you want to talk about, or basically did I hit everything?
Well, you did want to talk about real quick before we get off here. You did want to talk about that unsanctioned match between Mike Kanellis and Drake Maverick. You did bring that up from 205 Live. You wanted to talk about that, you said.
So yeah, let me talk about. So basically, yeah, a lot of people are saying, and I'm seeing some of the reports about it, that hopefully this doesn't happen. At the end of the night, at November, 205 Live might possibly get canceled. I really hope that's not the case. I mean, if 205 Live got canceled, I think, a lot of people are going to be upset about it. They're saying, because it doesn't have the biggest crowd attendance and it doesn't have the best network views, that it might get canceled. I really hope that's not the case. The only reason I would be all right with it is if it became a part of the NXT brand, and they did and they made NXT a little bit of a longer show. But yeah, hope that would be the only reason I'd be all right with that. But yeah, so basically this was the final blow off of this Drake Maverick Mike Kanellis feud that had been building and building and building for months. And even though they had to change plans a lot with this feud, because the 24/7 title got brought into the picture, and then the whole thing happened with the Kanellis's storyline where Maria Kanellis now randomly is treating Mike Kanellis like crap, which I hate that storyline with a passion. I know a lot of people are saying that it makes sense because, it's the woman showing that they wear the pants in the relationship and all that, and guys can relate to that. But how the hell, I just kind of say, how the hell in 205 Live they were fine in a relationship, and then all of a sudden now, in the span of 3 days, all of a sudden she's treating them like crap. Relationships don't really quite work that way. I mean, I haven't really been in many relationships, but they don't really work. I just don't think they work that way. So, plus, I think it's just a way for Vince McMahon to kind of fuck with Mike Kanellis because Maria Kanellis didn't tell Vince that she was pregnant before she re-signed her contract. Which is really weird because Mike Kanellis is being punished for something that his wife did. So that's just and Mike Kanellis, I mean, obviously this is beside the point, but Mike Kanellis could have signed anywhere else in the world and chose to be signed with WWE, and this is his reward for that. I want to remind everyone, WWE signed him to a $5 million contract and basically are throwing away their money just because Vince is as James Hebert says, a stingy fuck. But back to the 205 Live talk. So, they did the unsanctioned match. I think it was a matter of time before Drake Maverick wrestled a match, and this was the perfect time for him to do this, because this had built and built and built. And we should talk about the geniusness of the writing of 205 Live, because they've been able to adapt, and just NXT and NXT UK in general. They've been able to adapt with all the changes that the main roster has been trying to make with the performers, with Drake Maverick's comedy and Mike Kanellis' comedy, and him being booked like crap, and they really made this work. They really made Mike Kanellis look like he wanted to avenge himself and his wife, and finally make her proud of him, and finally get that cruiserweight title match that he wanted. Same thing with Drake Maverick. He just had enough of Mike Kanellis talking shit to him, and they had the unsanctioned match, and it's not one of those 5-star matches that you're gonna see in 205 Live normally week to week, but I thought that match worked brilliantly, where you had Mike Kanellis absolutely destroy Drake Maverick throughout the whole match, and they had the tie-ins where we had the flyers for the 24/7 title, looking for R-Truth, and shoved him in his face, bouncing him off the head of 205 Live commentary table, and it was just booked really greatly. And Drake Maverick whipping him with his belt and finally mounting this comeback, and eventually Drake Maverick winning with the running Bulldog. And we thought that at that point that it was going to be Mike Kanellis winning because Gulak needed an opponent. But Drake Maverick winning, I think, just works because it's a satisfying ending to the story. It doesn't make Mike Kanellis look weak. And I even like, too, how the next week Drake Maverick kind of really ended this by saying, you're not going to see me compete. My main priority now is going to be being the general manager of 205 Live. And Mike Kanellis, we can end our thing now, and you can still be invited to compete on the 205 Live roster if you want to, which we don't know if that's going to happen because it's going to be, I don't know. I feel like now that would be like a satisfying ending for Mike Kanellis in 205 Live because, he lost to Drake Maverick, but I really don't want to see Mike Kanellis now be on Raw because it would just be bad, but I can't control that. But I really enjoyed the unsanctioned match. Like I said, not one of those 5-star matches, but I thought it was a perfectly well-booked match, and it was a really cool way to end off this Drake Maverick, Mike Kanellis feud. But what about you, though? What did you think of the way they did this unsanctioned match and everything?
They had a good long storyline with it for a few months, and I liked the build to it. I liked the conclusion of the match. Like I said, I was surprised because at that point we didn't have a contender for Drew Gulak, so I had predicted Mike Kanellis was going to end up winning, but mistake after mistake after mistake he kept making. He kept lifting him up. He could have beat him with ease, kept lifting him up, giving him more and more punishment. That was the story they were telling. And his anger and his frustration, his selfishness was what eventually cost him and allowed Drake Maverick to get the win. And so he didn't get his title shot. So now I think Mike Kanellis and this is far from over. I think they're going to let it cool down a little bit and reunite it here sometime after SummerSlam. But I think this is far from over, though, with the feud.
Yeah. I could see them, they still don't like each other, but, they'll still, Drake Maverick would be impartial to Mike Kanellis, and Mike Kanellis would do. I don't think Mike Kanellis is going to be on for a few weeks. I think he'll be on, maybe a couple weeks after SummerSlam. But yeah, and then another couple things I want to talk about on 205 Live is I really like the way they've started this Lince Dorado Humberto Carrillo feud, where Lince Dorado doesn't think Humberto Carrillo is as good of a luchador as he say he is. And they had the match this week where they both got double counted out, which was fine. It's building the story. And, you have Ariel Daivari maybe trying to talk Lince Dorado into dumping Lucha House Party. So that's kind of interesting right there. Don't know if it's going to necessarily happen. It would be interesting, but I don't really see anyone in Lucha House Party really turning heel. And, I don't know if I think Lucha House Party's done on the main roster because I haven't seen them in a few weeks. But they could come back. But, yeah, I'm enjoying that. What about you? What about this Lince Dorado, Humberto Carrillo feud they got going on? And what about this?
Well, I called this a couple weeks ago on 205 Live Matters. I said that they were going to end up having some kind of that once they had the match in the tag match, that Humberto was going to end up probably feuding with Lucha House Party in a friendly competition at first. But you can say Dorado here, he's, like I said, that was interesting, a double count out. Or I was I wasn't really thrilled with it. I wanted a decisive winner, and then I know people messaged me back and forth talking about, no, he got back in right at No, your body has to be fully back in the ring before the count of 10. His body wasn't fully back in the ring. That's why it was a double count out. Like I said, it's going to be, I think this is going to give Humberto something to do right now because he don't need to be put in the title picture yet. They're doing a good job slow burning him. They need to leave him to be slow burned. Maybe let him be the one that beats Gulak at WrestleMania. I think that would be a good place to give him his crowning moment then. But let's do the slow burn. This will give him something to do and let him have single matches with the Lucha House Party for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's about everything on 205 Live. I do want to mention, too, that Isaiah Swerve Scott made an appearance recently on 205 Live, and he looked very impressive. I really like that. He had a match with Gulak, and I liked how they kind of called back that they were in Evolve together because Gulak talked about, how he used to respect. I almost said Shane Strickland, but I can't say that name anymore. Isaiah Swerve Scott. And, he talked about, and he basically said, but that was the old me. I've evolved since then. So I really kind of like that. That was kind of like a wink thing. And yeah, Gulak beat him, but I feel like Isaiah Swerve Scott looked strong enough. And I really enjoyed Isaiah Swerve Scott. I really think he's going to be a big player in the WWE, unless he gets to the main roster right now. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But what about you? Your thoughts on Isaiah Swerve Scott's first match in the 205 Live and all that stuff?
he can come back to Opal Live anytime he wants. If he wants to be on there full time, I'm fine with it. Very impressive match. I said I liked it because, like I predicted, Gulak was going to win that match. But what I was more intrigued about was the Gulak promo for the match, and I brought this up in the past. How he's talking about they keep bringing back people from my past, and so I had thought for sure they were going to end up bringing Kushida in from NXT, who beat Gulak twice now on NXT TV. Now beat him twice. And now that Gulak's Cruiserweight champion, that would have easily been a new number one contender right there with Kushida because he beat him twice already. He could have easily set up had the third match, and they could have had this match at SummerSlam, but they didn't do it yet. Maybe they're saving that for later down the road. Hopefully so, because that would be, I wanted to see them revisit that and tell that story again.
Yeah. And that's basically now that's basically everything in WWE. There's really nothing else to talk about. We basically hit everything. We did our predictions and everything. But just anything else you want to talk about WWE wise, or did we basically cover everything?
Now? We've covered everything. So we got a long weekend of wrestling ahead of us.
Oh yeah. All right, but that's pretty much it. I appreciate you being on, Chris. This was a lot of fun. This was the first time we did like a video, just us together. I thought that was a lot of fun. Welcome to come back on a rundown anytime. Obviously, at some point you're going to be on Video 2000, which is the next video right after this. So that's going to be exciting. Also, just going to remind you, make sure you send via Facebook message or text, however you get a hold of Noah, your picks. But if we're both keeping track of the predictions, I think we should be safe. But it doesn't hurt to do that. But yeah, before you end off the video, is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Just support Aftermatch Wrestling. Stephen and Jerry do great work with What's NXT and the NXT Party. And for anybody that's confused right now, if they haven't seen What's NXT or the NXT Party on No DQ as of right now, as we're recording this, it is on Colin Andrews' channel for What's NXT, which he does great work with the Chopping Block. This week's episode of What's NXT is on there. So as me and Colin took over the hosting duties for 1 week only there, so it was pretty entertaining, pretty fun, pretty much a lot of fun. You also have the NXT parties hopefully should be uploaded by the morning by good brother Chris and Cindy G and their special guest. I believe that's going to be on Cindy G's channel. I can't remember his channel, but she'll once she posts it on the chat room, I'll make sure I share it on my Facebook page so everybody can find it. Yeah. So like I said, support good brother Chris, who does great work. AEW Nation is almost at 12,000 members now, so doing great work there. Like I said, support this man right here. This is going to be episode 1999. His next episode, I think you said August 14th, 2000.
Well, it's probably not going to be August 14th. It's probably going to be a little later now, but
okay. But he's getting ready to have his 2000 episodes. So that's quite an accomplishment. So proud of him for that. And like I said, this was a fun time. 2 Facebook groups you can support the 205 Live Matters Facebook page. We got 21 members right now. So anybody who likes to join, just hit an invite. Noah's the founder of it. Me and Cindy and Noah are the admin. So if you want to join, more welcome to join us and talk about 205 Live or anything Cruiserweight Wrestling or any kind of wrestling in general. You also have Armbar. You have capital ARMBAR exclamation point. I said there's 81 members in there right now. That one you need to be active in, discuss wrestling. If you don't, the general, you're going to be out of there. Just like Velveteen says, dream over. So
I'm surprised I didn't get thrown out because I wasn't active for a few weeks.
Yeah, but you're part of the NXT team, so we know stuff happens, and we knew you were traveling. So
yeah,
there's a difference. So, but like I said, just pretty much that's all the plugs I got for right now.
Yeah, and basically we just plugged everything. Check out CM Brothers too, because a few videos, because I won't be able to post, since on this channel because that would kind of counteract episode 2000. But some of the wrestling videos are gonna go there for about a week or so. So make sure you check that out. And on the Talkinator for all my non-wrestling content. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Make sure to tune into 2000 too. I'm going to share it all over the place so that way people will watch it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have, Chris on. A lot of people are going to be doing their moments talking about, the channel. We're gonna show past moments of my channel, whether it was a wrestling rundown or just any old video that I've ever done. So make sure you guys check it all out. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy some wrestling weekend, NXT TakeOver, SummerSlam, New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Day 12, Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and then NXT and NXT UK. Basically, if you're not burnt out by wrestling by then, you guys are troopers. I hope you guys take a break after this big weekend because you got a big week coming up. Also, another announcement too. October 9th, I will be, if I can get the tickets in time, I will be attending AEW's TV show because it's going to be in Boston. And next year, hopefully, I'll be attending all the stuff that Noah and everyone else is attending right now. I'll be attending NXT TakeOver, whatever it will be called. I'll be attending SummerSlam. I'll be attending Raw. I'll be attending SmackDown, 205 Live, hopefully, if it's still a thing. And then, obviously, the NXT episode after that. So, yeah, I'm hoping that could happen. But, yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning into the episode, and we will talk to you guys later.
All right, have a good night, y'all.